Hello everyone! I was thinking mac and cheese is like that guy that says that he's Italian because he has a great-great-great-grandma originally from somewhere in Italy, but who has no idea actually where she was from. So today I'm going to bring this dish on a quick trip to home to see how he does with his old friends, the Italian cheese. Since mac is for macaroni, I thought that a good start would have been to buy the right type of macaroni. But surprisingly, that was not so easy. So what we have here, the rigatone, penne rigate, trenette, wow, that's good, fusilli bucati corti, I tortiglioni, le penne lisce, don't buy penne lisce, they're really horrible. And then there's something else over there. Ooh, look at that! Macaroni number 37! My lucky number! I thought to find macaroni all over the place, but... And now, let's think about the cheese. First candidate, Grana Padano. It's Parmigiano's cousin, but it comes from the north of Italy, and the taste is really similar too. Its strength, children love it so much. Second member of the gang, Fontina, directly from the Alps. Fontina cheese has a flavor with the character of a cow and also the character of the Italian hillbilly. Its major characteristics: smells like a sweaty feet. Third, Gorgonzola, the classic Milanese cheese. Always remains fashionable with its creaminess and its tasty green molds. Main feature: smells like a rotten sweaty feet. Last but not least, the Taleggio cheese. From the Valley of Lombardia region, this cheese is a softy gentleman. Smell it and you will feel like you're hugging a cow. So now let's cut all the cheese that we need to make the sauce in small pieces. I use more or less 100 grams for each cheese. To prepare our creamy cheese sauce, I'm gonna start making a roux, or bechamel if you prefer the name, it's the same thing. So melt 100 grams of butter in a pot and let it bubble for about 1 minute at low flame. Then start to add the 100 grams of standard flour little by little, not all at once. Stir to incorporate the flour into the butter. Let it cook for 2 or 3 minutes, just enough to toast the flour. Now, always little by little, add about 1 liter of milk. Cold is okay. Stir energetically, so as to not create lumps. Then you can turn off the flame and put in the mix of cheese that we cut before. Stir gently this time, cuddling the cheese can help to melt it better. It's so creamy! So now let's think about our pasta. Oops, I forgot to put salt in the water. Now I can pour my macaroni to cook. Meanwhile, continue to stir the creamy sauce. Mannaggia la miseria, al tappo la pentola, mi sono dimenticato. Anyway, I'm gonna add some black pepper, some salt and some nutmeg, just a bit. After half the cooking time, drain the macaroni from the water and let it mix together with the cheesy sauce. More sauce, more sauce, more sauce. Pour the pasta in a baking dish, add more sauce, more grana padano on top, and of course, as the American recipe calls, breadcrumbs like the cherry on top of the cake. Let's move the creature into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. And here you are, the back-home Italian mac and cheese. Voila! The color looks right, even without using the orange cheddar cheese. Actually, I don't know why here in Italy the milk to make cheese is only white and never orange. By the way, the dish looks great. Crunchy on top and the sauce is still soft. The macaroni are still al dente. So now it's time to taste it. Wow, it's a bomb. That's probably why Americans love it. It's good, but I just made a mistake. I ate too much cheese during the preparation, so now the macaroni comes out my ears. And my nose too, oh, that's gross. Okay, that's too much. Stop, stop, stop. See you next time, guy. Bye bye.